This has been a bit of a weird week for me. We're coming to the end of 2022, and it's around now I'd start thinking about the watch that I enjoyed most this year, as well as the one I thought stunk the hardest. What makes this week weird is that I think both the best and worst watches of 2022 were released at basically the same time. I'll start with the best, and then we'll get stuck into the worst. Now, I've been aware of what Christopher Ward's been up to for a few weeks now, but the official launch of the Bel Canto was last week, and what a launch that was. 300 units of both the blue dial and green dial sold out in mere hours. Incredible. Not much of a surprise, however, at least not to me. When I first heard that they were making a high-quality watch with a chiming complication that looked like one of my most favourite watch series ever, the MB&F Legacy machines, for less than the Black Bay 58, well, at first I thought they were mad, lying, or both, aiming to achieve that, but wouldn't. Except they did. I went into a lot more detail on the how on the Watchfinder channel, picking apart the processes and technologies Christopher Ward used to achieve the seemingly impossible, but I didn't touch so much on the how it made me feel. Well, aside from the fact that I stupidly missed the blue dial, it makes me feel very happy indeed. The reason I'm so confidently badging the Bel Canto as the best watch of 2022 isn't because of the design, or the manufacturing processes, the complication or price, it's what it represents. At the moment there are a lot of people who love watches feeling a bit dismayed, you know? Cost of living is rising and the watches we all dream about are long since unaffordable. Yet, like a glint of sunlight on a dripping wet Saturday afternoon, the Bel Canto shows us that not only is it possible to make a watch that ticks all the right boxes, more importantly, it shows us that there are people and companies dedicating themselves to achieving it. If the Bel Canto were a thought project or cost $1 gazillion, it would have all been moot. Instead, it's real. You can, or could, buy it. Christopher Ward stuck to their word and their goal, and they made it. The cherry on the cake for me would be for the Bel Canto to become a freely available watch. Unfortunately, that doesn't necessarily make business sense because the scarcity and the desirability of it will make short runs sell out quicker. Christopher Ward isn't a charity after all. They do have to keep the lights on and their margins are already tight enough as it is. I hope they find a way to manage expectations, to keep the Bel Canto hot, but still get them out there to the people aching to have one most. I hope that very sincerely because, for me, it's the model for a new generation of watch company that goes above and beyond just making another affordable dive watch. Let's contrast that with the other big news of last week and what I consider to be 2022's worst watch, the Rolex Deep Sea Challenge. This 50mm chunk of titanium is a lump in every possible way, both with its 23mm thickness and its $26,000 asking price. Thankfully, as the first Rolex in full titanium, it weighs only 251 grams, about the same as a tub of Sudocrem. It would have weighed 30% more if it were still in the steel the original concept watch was made from, the one that went down with James Cameron to nearly the bottom of the ocean. Why do I think this is the worst watch of 2022? Well, perhaps unexpectedly, I think the whole making dive watches that can go deeper than any human can thing is actually pretty cool. James Cameron was already going down there, why not strap a watch on for the ride as well? It's the kind of thing I enjoy, the kind of thing that makes me blow air out of my nose and say, neat. I also love the whole back and forth with Omega too. Interconglomerate beef is a guilty pleasure of mine and I love how deep it runs with Rolex and Omega in the pursuit of the deepest dive. In fact, when Omega took a Planet Ocean deeper than Cameron's Rolex in 2019, there was a whole kerfuffle about it. When Omega hitched a ride with explorer Victor Vescovo for the attempt on the deepest dive, they returned to the surface hailing a new record of 10,927 metres, 16 metres deeper than Cameron's previous dive. Rumour has it that Cameron chose not to go deeper than the original 1960 dive out of respect, but the truth of the matter is that Cameron called out Vescovo's figures as balderdash. Where I take exception in his saying he went deeper, Cameron said, "You can't go any deeper because the trench is flat and featureless." Turns out that no one really knows how deep the deepest part of the ocean is, with figures varying by around 150 metres. One of those guys should have taken a tape measure down with them or something. Anyway, back to the point. The Rolex Deep Sea Challenge is the worst watch of 2022, not because of what it is, but what it stands for. Sure, it's the most water-resistant watch that you can buy, but 1, you can't exactly buy it, and 2, you can't exactly buy any of the brand's watches either. If the Bel Canto represents a fresh new outlook on watchmaking, the Rolex feels cynical and old-fashioned. They're replicating technology that was revolutionary over 60 years ago. They're rebadging Grade 5 titanium and pitching it as innovation. They've got James Cameron saying things like, "It's not merely a watch you own, it's a watch you earn." And it makes me want to sell my eyes to medical research. It leaves me conflicted. I love even the watch, but I loathe the reason it exists. It's not gone back to the trench to call bullcrap on Vescovo and Omega. It's not making me think differently about how watches are made or what they can do. It's just going to join the legions of other Rolex watches on display in stores marked as for exhibition only. What watches do you think are the best and worst of 2022? Do you agree or disagree with my choices? Let me know in the comments below, and please do like and subscribe while you're there. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.